So we're going to keep going for the last part of the ANUGA session. Okay. Which was about validation. So now the last step of our modeling workflow is to make sure that our model predictions are actually accurate. So to do that, we are going to compare the results with observations. So you have downloaded CRMS data and air SWOT data. So those two data sets are going to be used in similar ways to see if observed water levels were similar to the ones that were simulated in your models. So to do that, we are going to first do the import cells as usual, and then give me the right one. Import the model. So you see that we are importing it as like a netcdf file. I mean, that's what NC, this package works with. Basically, what I mean here is that the output file SWW are actually netcdf with like a different ending. But so it saves time, the time variable, it saves the coordinates of the points in your mesh. It saves the friction as well. And that's all we're going to need in order to create a triangulation object. So the mesh, basically, so in a plottable and way, and a way that's you can work with. So once all of that is loaded, we're going to load our input data. So this is a first data set, the CRMS one. First input the tides. Oh no, I'm sorry. Let me start over. First is not CRMS. It's the checking that our input tides are actually correct. Like they actually give the same signal in the model at the same location. So one thing is that when you take your tidal gauge, it's not always exactly at the same location as the boundary location, right? So you want to make sure that your prediction at the same place as the tidal gauge is generating the same signal. That's what this is for. So we import the data. This is to look for which triangle holds the location of the gauge. So we just give it like the location of the gauge, which was in the settings, the settings PI file that you created earlier. And so once we have the coordinate of that triangle, we can check what water level was inside at which moment. So that's what we're doing here. Up. And of course, I only have 4 times, so it might not work. But for you, it should work, actually, if the tidal gauge is within your domain, your model domain, which if you changed the area, it might not be. So that's not a big problem. So if you get an error like that, don't worry too much about it. Just keep going. It just means that your tidal input is not within your domain, basically, whether it's in time or in space. Okay. So now we're going to do the same with the CRMS data. So within our domain, we have 2 CRMS gauges. And this will process it, compare timestamp to timestamp, and triangle to gauge the different water levels. So just give it a couple minutes. Okay. Oh yeah. Well, in my case, there's only four. I stopped the model a little bit early, so it won't show anything. It should show something on yours. If you have CRMS stations within your domain. Yeah, you see, in my case, I didn't allow enough time. Let me check if I can change this. It's going to take a little time. So I'll rerun the model and do it after that. Anyways, the last step is to do exactly the same thing with a different data set. In that case, it is the AirSWAT data set. So AirSWAT is like a plane with a SWAT-like type of sensor that measures maps of water levels. And those have been vectorized. So we have points where we have accurate measurements of the water levels within this huge domain. Those also have a timestamp, so they have been recorded at different times, but each point only has like one timestamp. So it's more like a spatial analysis more than a time analysis like you can do with the CRMS station. So it really completes the set of validation. On one hand, you have like a time series validation, and on the other hand, you have like a spatially varying validation, type of validation. Everything is broken on this one. Okay. So I don't have my my AirSWAT data. Oh yeah, I don't have it here. Okay. Okay. So hopefully now it should work. Yep. So it found my files. We are processing the dates on this. We have 94 data points that are within our model time and domain. And again, I don't know why this is not working. I'm assuming this is because I stopped too early. Will this work? No. Okay. Well, let me rerun the model on my side. Does anyone else has any issue with this this notebook, or is it running smoothly? You have the same issues? Did you stop your run early? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Is anyone able to do the validation like from start to finish? So you were? Okay. Yeah. Well, anyways, so the next step of this exercise is actually we are going to be doing it together. So it's actually convenient that this is happening. For the next step, I will ask you to go back to the start, so the first notebook, and this time we will run a different scenario, and you will choose the scenario. So you can keep the same areas if you want, or you can change as well. But I will ask you to change the boundary conditions of discharge and water level. But I won't tell you how to do it. So it should be easy enough to do it by yourself. So you can, for instance, run a different scenario with like higher water level or lower discharge if you want. There's also an option for smoothing the the signal, the input signals. I mean, you can try using that too. Just try and do something different, and let's see if you can change that on your own. Another thing that I will ask you to do is to use the spring data instead of the fall data instead of the spring. So right now everything is set up for spring. So you will need to change the dates and the friction conditions. Okay? Oh, the appropriate dates, actually any dates. Hmm? I think it's because I didn't run the model all the way through. Do you have issues there? Did you run the model completely? Yeah. So that may be the reason why. Let's see. Yeah. Oh. Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Let me see. Do I have the same here? Okay.
Of the model is SWW. What is that?
It's a netcdf file.
Oh, okay.
It's the same, but it's just in different naming.
It's not in your output director.
I ran them all, but it didn't say, when I tried to save the results, it didn't find anything.
Really?
Yeah, so it,
Oh, it's here. Look, www.
well, so it's the domain.
No, it should be. That's strange that it has this name, but
Is that the file though?
yes, I think so.
Oh, okay. So if I do if I
It
just,
should be a different name though. It's strange that it is this one. Can you run the notebooks over? You don't have to redo the selection of anything.
just,
Like, I'll show it on the big screen. Yeah. So just a few tips. If you want to rerun a notebook fully without having to go through all the cells one by one, you can actually just click on this button and it will kill the kernel and start it over and go through all of them in sequence. And since you already saved your model domain and the other shape files like the transects of your discharge, etc., you won't have to delineate it again. It's going to be saved still. So yeah, you can just hit this button and restart from really scratch, or just restart from, say, the third one if you just want to run it again with like different times, for instance, but on the same domain. You could just do that. Oh, okay. So that's what I'm going to do actually here. You can also change, one thing you can do is changing the name of the model. I think I called it deltaic workshop or something like that. And so if you change that, it will keep your old model and it won't erase it basically. So if you want to do several tries, that's an option. So if there are any question, even online, don't hesitate to use the chat or to call me if needed. Open up and reinitialize what? Okay. Then you need to type Jupyter space lab. No, you activate your environment and then you just type in Jupyter lab. It's better if you are in your in the workshop directory, but if you're not, if you're somewhere like higher up in the tree, you're still going to be able to navigate to it. Yes. No, you can't. But what you can do as an option is download the shapefiles, edit them in QGIS, for instance, and re-upload them. That's a little more work, but yeah, that's the only solution I have for that. Oh yeah, great. Yeah, maybe you missed a cell when you um, run everything. That happens often. So. So you're missing the friction, the Baptist friction.
Oh, the special friction.
Yes, the one that allow you to take into account vegetation. But someone actually found a solution to that. Go to do here.
That's around a couple of things.
Oh yeah.
Maybe they work.
So you can use OS path join, and you need to basically separate every single directory in it, and you can put as many as you want.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the function has like four arguments now, but it works.
Because some people, even when they hard coded it, it was.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's-
No?
Take it back.
Can I try something?
Yeah.
Is
I
it?
mean, the director, I mean, it's reading the directory, right?
So so the file path did work. It's just this didn't work. What if you
It's an
just
instant.
erase that?
Yeah, because even people who wrote out exactly where the file was, hard coded it, it's still that dev null did not work.
Wait, that
There
one.
you go. Yeah, so it's the
Okay.
Python, the install.
So yeah, we need to get rid of this. It's
Okay.
everywhere. It's everyone. Okay, so I think we figured out the issues that we've had since this morning with the file path of the Python, uh, the install Python. So you just need to delete this little bit of code. Just delete it. It doesn't do anything. So delete it and run it again. It should work. Yeah. Yeah, literally just copy pasted that line. So no, the third one should be enough because so the previous ones are just generating. Yeah, my advice would be every time you want to run um, a new model to kill the kernel anyway and restart everything. So you can click on this button that will do it for you. So you don't have any conflict between previous inputs and new inputs. And yeah. Yeah. So all of what we're doing right now, we will actually use those models in our Dorado exercises this afternoon. So in case you're not able to, we do have some spare models. I'm sorry. The domain, it can be wherever you want. I mean between you need to be somewhere we have the. So it's gonna be in this area. Yeah, you can try with that. It's a very big model though. So, but it's okay if you want to try with that. Good to make this kind of tries. Yeah.
Usually not where I'm trying to match.
Okay. Comment this line out. And let's see if that works. So this line is supposed to align rasters together. So they have the exact same number of rows and columns, and they are also aligned spatially, like georeference wise. So I think that my previous steps already do that, but just to make sure I added that, and I'm sorry if it doesn't work on your computer. So hopefully it still works. Yeah, okay. Are you able to make it work? Okay. Well, yeah, at least it's more sure. Like you're sure to have an output.
In the
Okay.
file to try to define more papers. Yeah, different ways. So I just try.
Okay, that makes sense. So if you want, you can also try and change a few things in Collab that will still work.
I know.
Okay. Oh, you're familiar with Collab already?
Yes.
Okay, well, that's good then. Right, great. Yep. Oh, which one is
So that right points essentially, because the stations are, I don't think it's taking giving that kind
the animation for
of one levels. not much movement on.
But usually, yes. So the time,
Because it's also shallow water. Oh, this is the last. Yeah, okay.
but this is the water level. You can.
Oh, yeah, so then definitely, yeah, I think it's just like an introduction, yeah.
Yeah, it takes some time for water to
Yeah,
so you will have
right.
this show jump. You could try if you want to
Close the machine.
start the month.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, like maybe change the initial water level.
Yeah,
to like
that could be a
0.5.
good.
So it's not a spin.
I don't think so. I mean, it's just a. Usually, what I do, like I didn't include that. But you allow, like I discard the beginning of serial. Like yeah, like the time for the month.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I meant. Like, so this might be that spin up and
Yeah,
before
yeah.
it reaches the quasi steady state.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're talking about the same thing then.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So I was just curious. So it's like, okay, because this.
No, in that case, yes. Sorry, I misunderstood that. Yeah.
No. This the terminology is. Yeah, right. Okay, so but like, so this one, I think maybe I'll just try this with a different one too because.
Oh yeah, on screen. I haven't seen
Oh yeah,
the
try to see this.
this area before.
So, because I'm currently working on Max, I just chose to
Uh-huh.
put this. Yeah, but these look pretty cool though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
Oscar values are really bad. But
for each time flight line, so all of those are flight lines. Like the plane flew once, and then it came back, etc. But so for each of them, you have pretty bad results, like per squared. But if you look at the overall, normally you should be, yeah, it's fairly spread on the right direction. It's just,
Yeah.
no, it's,
yeah,
I agree it's bad, but
I think it's also because of the size of the grid. It's
Yes.
200, right?
yeah,
So,
200 is way too much.
I think it's like if I go 20, maybe this is gonna
Yeah.
start converging into a better value. But of course, it's gonna shoot up the modeling.
Well, that was a big issue that we had, especially for the large scale model, 200 kilometers.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you solve 200 kilometers when you need like 10 to 20 meters resolution? So yeah, you really need to have this varying grid size to be able to take into account all the complexities of the Louisiana coast.
Yeah, but do you guys do nesting and stuff in this? Like,
You don't really need to if you are using I mean, to my experience, maybe
Yeah.
you do. But if you're using um, an unstructured grid like that, you can grade the grid size gradient,
right? Yeah,
and so you don't really need a nesting like you would in a more orthogonal.
like delta sort of situation.
Right.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
I really think like I'm advertising a lot on this thing, but this Ocean Mesh 2D package is really great. I was able to get really cool results with that in case you're working with
Yeah.
triangular mesh.
Because I was actually starting to read this manuscript, like this is Ocean Mesh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the user guide, I was just trying to see like, okay, how can I change the grids? Because I think this is something interesting because it's purely hydrodynamic.
Mhm.
I think it will be cool to see like different, and the fact that you guys have the vegetation modeling detail, like the way you chose Manning for the bottom roughness, but then vegetation in Chessie.
Mhm.
I think that's pretty cool to do because in
Yeah.
Dubs really you're fixed with one sort of a roughness.
In
So-
actually it's pretty unusual that it's the only case in which you have like the two formulations for.
Yeah,
It's really I don't think it should be this way.
Okay.
It should stick to one formulation at once because it's
Yeah.
more consistent.
Yeah.
It's just like the Chessie formulation happens, the Baptist formulation.
Yes.
So vegetation thing
Yeah.
happens to be Chessie,
Right.
and Chessie is not sustained by ANUGA originally.
Oh,
So it's like there's a whole conversion thing that happens.
right. So I'm guessing it takes like the roughness length into consideration, then changes Chessie to that, and then Manning to that, and then
A little
takes
bit,
that
yes.
variable.
If you want, you can look into the Baptist
Yeah.
operator. There is a code for that. It's not too long. It's very interesting how it works.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the one
Yeah.
thing is you're mixing two,
Two different.
yeah, and
Yeah.
two different philosophies really. So
True, yeah, fair enough.
anyway, I'm glad you're having fun. It's cool.
Yeah, it's
All right, let's see. Time. It's 30 minutes. Okay. You're running the model. You're having fun?
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. Great code.
Thank you. Is it working?
I think it's running. This is one that I found earlier that was able to get us past the PIP.
Oh,
So
really?
it's basically instead of checking the SSL certificate, I think it just allowed the traffic to go or something.
Okay.
But it's this Netscope that causes the mix up. It's kind of
It's
a firewall type of deal.
okay. So many things to take into account. Huh?
Yeah, well, especially like yeah, have additional security stuff.
Did it work if you just removed that I mentioned earlier?
A few characters.
But were you talking about the install that?
This was very early, yeah, when we were doing the pip for some of the packages.
Installation.
Yeah, so this was very early on that I was getting that error.
Oh, yes, I remember now. Okay,
Yeah.
oh, so you were able to solve that. Okay,
Yeah.
I get it now.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, great. Okay.
Because because at first we were using Conda and for some reason it didn't trigger errors, but it didn't have all the packages, so I had to get the pip to work. Yeah, catching up. This is
Okay,
my
you got
first
it
model
working.
run.
So what did you change in your model?
This is the first go, so this
Okay.
is just the
Still
default
running.
stuff. Yeah, I haven't done the changes yet.
Yeah, now that you the other thing.
Yeah, so I've been catching up for a while.
I'm sorry about that.
Hey,
Bye.
it's like we have all the materials. We're gonna have to go home and do homework if we want to learn. How to do it.
Yes. Right. Are you? Oh,
If you kill the run mid-run, does it still save like the outputs up until,
yes.
it's not like temporary?
No. So is it working?
I've got a model running. I'm gonna try and
Okay, great.
let it go the whole way this time.
Okay, great. Where,
It's-
did you change something to the
Um,
setup?
no, I think I made I went back and changed the domain. And I made the cell size 250 instead of 200.
Okay.
So I was trying to speed things up.
Yeah, that would work. Okay. Looking forward to seeing what you. Sorry.
So I ran the model earlier, but then I had to change this. Do I have to run the entire thing again or do I?
So what, did you have problems before with this? So what likely happened is that you did not run the model with the correct friction. So, but I mean, for our purpose, it's not a big deal.
Okay, as long as they're in, I guess.
Yeah. Did you change anything to the setup? Okay. Working here.
I got it to run the first time. I don't know why it was. You did it. I changed something. It's barking at me with the file path. It works when I change them anyway, but
Changing.
I don't know.
What's the error that it gives you?
Oh, in this case, it's just like no such file or directory, so.
Okay.
I'm not sure why that was. I did get through it once. And maybe I forgot that, for some reason I didn't save the change I made. I already made.
So why do you have model inputs to look in this? Oops, it's here.
Oh, that's why, because wait a minute. Oh, it's because I made a backup.
Okay. That makes sense.
Maybe
Well,
it's
to
just
change
pointed,
that.
it's pointed towards my back. I don't know why it would be.
Maybe it's because you didn't kill your kernel, so it still has in memory the old path. So that's why it's useful to reset to zero.
Oh, because I've tried this twice. Yeah.
Okay.
Dang. Well,
Yeah, you can just
I'll,
click on this button.
I'm gonna. Well,
Yeah. Oh, hopefully it works this time. Were you able to upload some data or no? Did it work? I'm curious because I've not tried that, so. Okay. Well, that's fine. I was just curious if you had tried it. Okay. Yeah, no, the actual data, you can. No, that's okay. It's just if, like, let's say you go in the third one instance, if you wanted to change the boundary condition, say you want the tides to be 1 meter higher for obvious reasons.
Oh, yeah, I would.
So you could go down a little bit and down. Or sorry.
Sometimes.
Yes, you could go down again. More up. You could change this offset to I don't know, plus to do like, yeah, plus 1 meter, for instance. Run it again until it runs. Then it should save files, but like on the cloud, you can save the file on your computer. And then in the next one, you can
Okay.
upload it. Didn't work? Oh, looks like there was a problem.
Did I?
Maybe put a dot before. Yeah. But yeah, they're just like that. Sometimes it has issues with floats and integers. Tell me. What does it say? Oh, okay. Oh, I think you need to restart the whole thing. So you can just run time and run all. Yeah. So once everything is run, you will have stuff saved here, and including that SWW file. You can download it on your computer, and then if you go in this one, you see in sample data. No, it's gonna be. No, it's not gonna be in sample data. Oops, I got lost. Okay, content. Oh, you need to run it first. So it hasn't run yet. So yeah, you need to run it first. And at least the first cells. Let me see. This one. Run it away. And this one. So you will find like the same file structure as we have there, in under model inputs, no, model outputs, sorry, you will find like a collab folder. In in this folder, there is like an example
Mhm.
output, and you just have to replace this one with the one you. Let me know if that works. So that's running.
Yeah, yes. I was wondering, I left a two, I renamed all my outputs two and I left one in the inputs.
Okay, well,
Um,
that's great then.
Yeah, I have a conceptual question.
Okay.
For setup specifically where you delineate or you delineated like 7 different vegetation classes and you have different reference parameters for each. They're all kind of like, I guess, tuning parameters to some extent. You ever found that to be feasible to have that many different tuning parameters? That makes sense. Like because you're trying to calibrate your water levels.
Yeah.
But you don't really have a unique solution because we have so many. Because I do something kind of similar but simple as well. But right now I just have one vegetation. I don't know, maybe I should do two. And then once I get past two, I stop having any control over what's going on because I don't know which ones to move.
I see.
Does that make sense?
It does.
Has-
I think it's not like there's no simple answer to that.
Yeah.
We try to make it as relevant as we can. So
Yeah.
having those is like actually basing the model on observation data.
Yeah.
So we can at least do that.
Yeah.
But as you can see, there's in the script, there is like a scaling parameter.
Yeah.
So in the end, we do what we want to do, like
Sure.
whatever we want. Like if we want to have the
Yeah.
friction down, we can do it. That's
Yeah.
actually the case for some of those.
Okay.
Um,
That makes sense because I've seen and I get why like if you have a wooded vegetation and then grass, I understand that. But I've seen a couple things recently where people really split every species with its own
Yeah.
friction, and at some point it seems like it seems to me like it would be overkill, but I don't know how to.
Right.
I don't know. I haven't tried it.
I definitely agree with that. And
Yeah.
especially since like the model doesn't also take into account all the landscape complexity, just even just geology.
Because it's 100-meter.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of the friction that's actually due to geometric settings
Sure.
more than just like the type of vegetation or whatever.
You're also parameterizing like subgrid processes into the friction, or like the.
I mean, it
yeah,
includes that. So
Yeah.
sometimes if you have like a one straight channel versus a meandering channel,
yeah,
and all of them, both of them have exactly the same vegetation, they will have different frictions. And so, yeah, there's nothing you can do about this. So yeah, you have to kind of gauge what's the right compromise.
yeah.
But yeah, in that case, we just chose we have like a fairly simple classification for the vegetation. I mean, and it's also making sense regarding friction. I mean, grass versus.
Sure, I can see examples where it would be necessary.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
So, but if you look into it, you will see that some of those have actually pretty similar values. So
Okay,
they are not
Yeah.
effectively different.
yeah,
It's just like the idea was to use the data set we had.
yeah, and the data set's complex, so you might as well load
Yeah.
it all in. Yeah,
So,
gotcha. Okay.
but I get it. There's no simple answer to that. Oh, I'm sorry, I need to go back to it.
In the wetland.
All right. Yeah. Wanna- Yeah. Everything is on this one if you want. As you like. But it's okay if you want to set it up. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, this time it worked.